Hey everyone, it's Scott here again with another video in the series of how to help you get the most out of your Studio 3T license. Today's video, we're going to take a look at how we can customize your Studio 3T experience. We have over 15 little settings or little features that we can configure to make working with Studio 3T and MongoDB faster, more efficient, and make it work in a way that works best for you. Now, we've already made one video in this series where we took a look at the querying tools that we have in Studio 3T, so the drag and drop query builder, our aggregation editor, and our SQL tool. So if you haven't checked that video out, I recommend doing that now. And yeah, today we'll look at customizing your experience in Studio 3T. And if you have any requests for other videos that you'd like to see, please let us know in the comments and we'll get those made for you. But yeah, let's jump into it. So I think the biggest thing that we can do with customizing your own experience for Studio 3T is to decide if you want to work in light or dark theme. So I have mine here set in dark theme, and you can access that setting just from the quick start tab here. And this does require a restart of the application to take effect. Now if you take a look at our connections, there's a couple of things that we can do here to make our life a lot easier. First of all, the color coding that we've applied here, because you can have any number of connections live at any one time within Studio 3T, we recommend having them color coded so that when you have various tabs open, you're always confident that you know where you are. So to do that, let's open up the connection manager, and here, let's open up another connection. And you can just right click and decide to select the color, and that will apply to everything in that collection. You can see here that I also have some folders applied into my connections, and we can do that just from adding folders up there. And it's just another small thing just to make life a little bit easier for you when working with Studio 3T. Now the final little thing that I want to show you to do with connections is when you're setting up a connection, if we're doing it manually, so not via a URI, we can apply this read-only lock to the connection. Now this will only apply to Studio 3T itself. It won't impact your role on the MongoDB server side. You can see here that, yeah, it won't affect user permissions or roles. This is just purely for your own peace of mind when working within Studio 3T. Now let's take a look at a collection and see what we can do there. So we can see here that everything here is green, color coded with my localhost. But what we can do is we can actually right click and pick colors for each specific connection. So let's make this a nice purple color. And double click and open up this. Now, if you haven't applied a read-only lock at the connection level, you do have the option here just to apply a read-only lock at the connection level, at the collection level, sorry, I should say. And it's just another way that you can make sure that you aren't making any unintended changes to your data. We can also have the option of a default query here. So if you find yourself using the same query constantly, you can either save the query, and this would be really important for the upcoming team sharing features that we're about to release. But you can also set a default query so that whenever you open up this collection, that query will run for you automatically. So it's a nice way to save some time if you find yourself running the same query a lot. And something else you might notice is we have more color coding applied, and this is for my data types. And I've also decided to apply type icons as well. This is a really great tool if you're new to MongoDB or if you're new to a particular data set. Knowing the data type will allow you to query more efficiently, and we can turn those on and off by selecting this gear icon and just down here. We can have things plain or icons only, colors only, or both, entirely up to you. And you can find a key for this color coding in the Preferences tab, which we'll take a look at toward the end of the video. And you can overwrite the colors as well. Now also from this gear icon, there's a couple of other settings I want to point out. We can auto size columns as well, or we can choose to turn that off. So again, whatever works best for you. And you'll see here as well that we can also have columns in their natural order, alphabetical, or custom. And what we mean by that is you can actually rearrange your columns in Studio 3T. So from this view here, let's say that we work with transactions quite a lot. And to save us having to scroll along and find that, what we can do is we can actually just drag the transactions field along. And yeah, let's drag it a little bit further along. Let's put this after date of birth. And this is persistent, so if we close this collection down and then open it up again, Studio 3T will remember that column ordering. So you only have to do this once. So for those collections that you're working with quite a lot, you can rearrange those those columns and make them in an order that works best for you. Now we also have a couple of options for viewing your data. So this is the table view that we're looking at, which is probably the most common. It is the most common, but we do also offer a tree view as well, which is great for giving you an idea of the structure of your data. And we also have a JSON view as well. And again, that's just your preference, and Studio 3T will remember your preferred view as well. So once you've set that up, you don't need to do that again. And if we step back into the table view, one final thing I want to point out here is the option you have with embedded fields. So I have all of my embedded fields up here at the root level, but what we can do is we can right click and hide all embedded fields. Because of the color coding, I know that the address and the interest and scores are embedded, so we can double click here and we can see here with that dot notation. Similarly with the scores array, we can double click and step into everything. But if you do prefer to have everything up at the top level, all you need to do is right click and show all embedded fields. And all of those will now appear for you at the root level to make exploring your data a little bit easier. And the final thing I want to take a look at is just the Preferences tab in Studio 3T and point out a few things there. So if we come up to Studio 3T, select Settings. So first of all, we have the number of documents that are returned per page. So by default, that will be set at 50. But you can override that if you want. We also have the option here to choose which querying tool will open when you double click on a collection. So again, by default, it will be the collection tab, which has the Visual Query Builder in it. But you can choose to have either the shell or SQL tool or our aggregation editor as well. Again, you have the option here to have your columns in their natural order or alphabetical. There's some data formats here. Now down here we have Enable Session Restore, which does require a restart. And what that means is that Studio 3T will remember the tabs that you have when you close the application. So if you have sort of 10 connections set up, but you find yourself working with 3 of them quite a lot, you can enable Session Restore and Studio 3T will automatically connect to those 3 every time you open up the application. So it's a small thing, but will save you some time in the morning. And finally, what I want to point out as well is you do have the option here to have the Visual Query Builder open automatically in the collection view. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of what the Visual Query Builder is, it's our drag and drop query builder, great for fast querying and also for people who are new to MongoDB. I recommend checking out the querying video that we've made in this series. I think it's the first video we made. So yeah, go there and check that out if you have any questions. And yeah, there are other settings here. In the Appearance tab, here's where you'll find the color coding for the data types, where you have the option to overwrite the default. And you can also go through and check out some other settings as well. But I think we'll leave it there today for the customization. Like I say, this is a series of videos, so if you do have any suggestions or questions, please let us know in the comments and we'll get those videos made for you. If you haven't used your 30-day trial of Studio 3T, then you can head to our website. We'll put the details in the description. And yeah, Download it, have a play around with it. If you have any questions, reach out and let us know. And happy querying. Thanks very much. Bye.